Hello and welcome to our YouTube channel, PSD World. PSD World, we are dedicated to providing high-quality content that inspires, educates, and entertains. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video we will be talking about a topic that affects millions of people around the world every year. Floods are one of the most common natural disasters that affect our world. They occur when water overflows onto land that is normally dry, due to heavy rainfall, overflowing rivers, or coastal storm surges. Floods can be extremely destructive, causing damage to homes, businesses, and infrastructure, as well as putting human lives at risk. Floods have been a part of human history for thousands of years. Ancient civilizations such as those in Mesopotamia and Egypt built canals and irrigation systems to manage the flooding of their rivers. In modern times, floods are still a major threat to many parts of the world, particularly in developing countries with poor infrastructure and inadequate warning systems. There are many different types of floods, each with its own causes and effects. River floods occur when heavy rainfall causes rivers to overflow their banks, often resulting in significant damage to nearby homes and businesses. Flash floods are sudden and fast-moving, occurring when heavy rain falls on steep hillsides or in urban areas with poor drainage. Coastal floods are caused by storm surges, which can cause significant damage to low-lying areas near the coast. The effects of floods can be devastating, both in terms of physical damage and human suffering. Floods can damage homes and businesses, destroy crops and infrastructure, and disrupt transportation systems. They can also result in the loss of life, as people are swept away by fast-moving water or trapped in their homes by rising floodwaters. In addition to the immediate effects of floods, there can also be long-term impacts on affected communities. Displaced families may struggle to find new homes or access to basic necessities such as clean water and food. Floods can also exacerbate existing economic and social inequalities, as vulnerable populations are often the most affected by these disasters. Climate change is likely to exacerbate the frequency and severity of floods in many parts of the world. As the planet warms, more extreme weather events are expected to occur, leading to increased rainfall and more frequent flooding. This highlights the need for effective disaster preparedness and response measures, as well as long-term strategies to mitigate the effects of climate change. There are many different strategies that can be employed to reduce the risk and impact of floods. These include building flood protection infrastructure such as levees and floodwalls, improving warning systems to alert communities of potential flood events, and developing disaster preparedness plans to ensure that communities are ready to respond in the event of a flood. Ultimately, the prevention and management of floods require a coordinated effort from governments, communities, and individuals. By working together and taking proactive measures to reduce the risk of floods, we can help to ensure the safety and resilience of our communities in the face of this ongoing natural threat. Throughout history, there have been several notable floods that have had significant impacts on the affected communities. Here are some examples of major floods in different countries. China. The 1931 China floods were one of the deadliest natural disasters in history, causing an estimated 1 to 4 million deaths. The flooding occurred along the Yangtze River basin and was caused by a combination of heavy rainfall and poor infrastructure. The disaster prompted the Chinese government to invest in flood control measures, including the construction of the Three Gorges Dam. United States. The Great Flood of 1927 was one of the most destructive floods in U.S. history, affecting several states along the Mississippi River. The flooding was caused by heavy rainfall and the failure of levees and other flood control structures. The disaster displaced hundreds of thousands of people and caused extensive damage to homes and businesses. Bangladesh. The 1998 Bangladesh floods were one of the worst floods in the country's history, affecting nearly two-thirds of the country. The flooding was caused by a combination of heavy rainfall and the overflow of several major rivers. The disaster resulted in the deaths of more than 1,100 people and caused widespread damage to infrastructure and agriculture. Brazil. The 2011 Brazil floods and mudslides were caused by heavy rainfall in the mountainous region of Rio de Janeiro. The disaster resulted in the deaths of more than 900 people and caused extensive damage to homes and infrastructure. The government declared a state of emergency in the affected regions and launched a relief effort to assist those affected by the disaster. Pakistan. The 2010 Pakistan floods were caused by heavy monsoon rainfall, affecting millions of people in several provinces. The flooding caused extensive damage to homes, infrastructure, and crops, and resulted in the deaths of more than 1,500 people. The disaster prompted a massive international relief effort to assist those affected by the floods. These are just a few examples of the many floods that have affected countries around the world throughout history. While the causes and impacts of these disasters vary, they all highlight the importance of effective disaster preparedness and response measures to minimize the damage and protect the safety of affected communities. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video and found it informative and entertaining. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more content like this.